Mike Schroepfer helped add tens of millions of square feet of cloud computing capacity as the former CTO at Meta. He's now the founding partner of Gigascale Capital, a venture firm making some early stage bets on those companies that are more focused on climate impact. But you put yourself in one bucket or another, I guess. Orbital data center or data centers where the ocean is the playground. Present your thesis to me.
Well, I don't think it's an either or. I think it's a little bit of all of the above. For space, it's very hard and expensive to get there, and I think nobody but SpaceX can do it with their vertical integration and launch costs at wholesale. Otherwise, economics are just tough. I can put a ton of mass in the ocean 100 times cheaper than I can put it in orbit. So I think you've got a lot of room to go in terms of using huge energy resources. We've got 10 terawatts of power in the Southern Ocean that's completely untapped, unused. We've also got, I built a lot on land, tens of millions of square feet. I don't think we're anywhere close to done using solar resources on land. Between solar and batteries, I could put together a new power plant in 12 to 24 months, in a pace that's faster than gas or launching into orbit. So I think there's a lot of different ways to do this. I think SpaceX is going to do space-based data centers. I'm bullish on land, solar plus batteries plus next generation, and in the ocean with companies like Panthalassa.
I think we therefore need to kind of understand the lasting and ripple effects of SpaceX's IPO, right? Which is, the prospectus could not be more clear. Here is the plan, orbital data center. But when you're in private markets putting bets on earlier stages, if someone comes to you with a deck and it says, I too have a plan for orbital data center, do you bother? Do you just say, well, SpaceX has got that covered? There isn't a need to fund this concept, this idea, this plan elsewhere?
I mean, I'm in the business of looking at everything, so I'll always take a meeting to understand to see if I've missed something, and I'll update my priors if I see new information. Every time I've looked at the math, the economics on space-based data centers, it's doable. It's extraordinarily expensive because you have to pay for launch, you have to pay for radiation hardening, you have to pay for radiators large enough to get rid of the heat because these servers, produce a lot of heat. And once you add up all those costs, I just don't see how it's cost competitive with current on land or current ocean. You'd have to assume a dramatic increase in the price of building stuff on land before you want to go into space. Again, unless you're SpaceX and you get all of those things at wholesale costs, in which case your costs are very different. So I'm not a wholly no, but I'm skeptical when people pitch on these ideas.
Mike, if we measure the economics of, and we're just showing what SpaceX presented the other night, the design, the economics of the space-based data center is $1 per token basis. How does submarine data center compare on paper?
Well, again, I think you have to look at all the assumptions into that. And, when I've done the modeling and math, if you just sort of do some basics on this, it's about 100 times cheaper currently to put a ton of mass in the ocean than it is to put that same ton of mass in space. So I think you have a huge cost advantage. And when you look at the ocean, you have almost unlimited free cooling in cold seawater. In space, you can radiate heat, but that requires building radiators or radiating into a vacuum. It's expensive. So again, I don't see how the math closes for anyone but SpaceX, who again has everything at wholesale cost, already launching large volumes of Starlink satellites. So I think it's a great business for them. I'm just not clear on how anyone else can compete on costs.
So our starting assumption is right now the world is compute constrained, right? You were at Meta for a long time. Meta is going to be one of the big capital expenditure deployers. Do you see Meta being open to a world of submarine data center as a solution, or looking at orbital data center as an alternative?
I think all of these providers, will look at these technologies when you show tokens being generated. Once I'm at a terminal and I can say, here's a chat experience with a live webcam of a little buoy bobbing in the Southern Ocean, or a feed from the live satellite and saying this is where the tokens are getting generated, I think everyone's going to perk up and add more attention. Until then, we're talking about theory because no one's done either of these things. But I think that at the end of the day, people want reliability, they want availability, and they want tokens now. So if you can provide people compute now, then they're going to do it.